Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody today to our general meeting, 1 o'clock, Southampton Town Board of Trustees. I'd like to ask the Secretary Treasurer to start with the roll call.
Scott Horowitz.
I'm here.
Ed Warner, present. Richard T. Marin.
Here.
Joe McLaughlin.
Present.
Matt Parsons.
Here.
Mr. President, we're all here.
All right, thank you, sir. Welcome to the folks that are on the Zoom. Just for information, our next trustee work session will be Monday, June 3rd at 9:30 a.m., followed by the 1 p.m. general session. We do have some discussions, and I see the village mayor is back here today. He's very busy today. Why don't we start with the Boyson Road grant application discussion? I mean, if you want to come on up, introduce yourselves. And we have a sign-in sheet here for today's meeting? Or?
It's up there. It's up the
Podium.
podium.
Yeah, you can bring it over here. You guys can sit here with the board. How are you today?
How are you?
Good.
You know Steve Phillips? Or
Yeah, we met, absolutely.
Okay.
How you doing?
Superintendent of Public Works. So that's Boyson right there. On the, our question is, we want some help with a grant process to have the LYs get back in Taylor Creek if they do go back there. We're not sure with that as well. That's the north end of Taylor Creek.
Yep.
If you go back to a couple of photos. I don't know if we can zoom in, but that pipe is collapsed underneath the road there. You can just see it just bubbling out of the ground right where the hand is, coming right there. So we're asking for your support and maybe writing a letter to help us get this grant process going.
I mean, you have the LYs and you also have the glass eels that would swim up there and
Correct.
go back to the habitat.
I mean, even the shiners.
And yeah, bait
It's
fish.
completely failed.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point. It's very old, you know, actually during the winter when we had that terrible high tide and the flooding in December, this was completely submerged, and we have one resident that could not get to his house because of it. So
Yeah, no.
we really have to have this re-engineered.
Yeah, that and it keeps the wetlands north of that functioning. Right now, it's turning from a marine environment to a freshwater pond, and
Exactly.
then you're going to incur
You have
mosquitoes
food
and
allergies.
you're going to have all other issues.
Well,
So
yeah.
yeah, maintaining the flow of water between the two water bodies is important.
So you're going to be approaching for perhaps some grant funding.
Correct.
Are you looking for us to provide a letter of support justifying?
Correct,
you know,
saying
that-
that,
This-
you
this
know.
wanting
as
fish.
The town trustees overseeing, again, this body of water.
This needs to happen.
I think this is with Taylor Creek.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
Taylor Creek,
it's
yeah.
Taylor.
So, just saying that, we
Right.
oversee Taylor Creek, and
Right.
that this is not
Yeah, right.
functioning as it's supposed to function.
Absolutely. We
and
looked at it,
we need
and I
help.
said we
Yes.
would do that. We would
Yeah.
absolutely. You're formalizing, you have another packet that you're ready to go with, or you're just getting there now?
We're just starting now. We're gonna
Okay.
talk to our grant writer and proceed to see
Okay.
what's available.
But the grant writer said it would be very helpful if we had a letter of support.
And it makes common sense.
Yeah.
And we're doing this is going on,
It's
very,
been going on for a while.
and it's going on in other spots of the town where they are rebuilding these things, and you're getting the benefits of getting this
We did
flying
help
fish.
with the other culvert, I think it's Cooper's Neck
Yeah,
Pond.
yeah.
So that you guys could replace that too, and
Yeah.
we were very much, in favor of it, and it's a similar, almost
Similar
situation,
Yep,
yeah. So I
yep.
think it's a good.
Forage fish are very important to the
Yeah.
entire system.
Yeah.
And whatever you can do to facilitate, them thriving.
Yeah,
Well, just look at the dynamics of how healthy the wetlands are to the, on the marine side
Yeah.
versus the aquatic side, the
Yeah.
freshwater side.
Yeah, it's
Here you
terrible.
are, on
It's
the other
all-
side, it's like fighting its way, and then you have totally invasive species choked out nastiness.
Exactly.
So I mean, that right there, that picture
Says
is a
it right there.
perfect picture.
Exactly.
If you want to take it to any NCON consultant and say, we really would like to have, native species growing on our
Both
our
sides.
seaside
Yeah.
than invasive
right,
phragmites.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I think,
Yeah, we'll definitely craft something for you,
Yes.
and then you could
Yeah.
move on in your process, because
Yep.
it is a process.
It's a process.
You're quite aware.
And this is not inexpensive, yeah.
No, everything's expensive.
amazing, just for a piece of pipe under the
It's unbelievable.
roadway.
Yeah,
It's almost like what you guys did out in Noyak. Similar.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. It's
Yeah.
other
And
areas.
what we
in
have
there.
on the,
yeah, you can,
for,
that's another
meetups.
good image
Yeah.
for you, Chip. See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but the process in Noyak was Department of
Yeah.
Transportation, the town, the DEC, Army Corps, there was so many people in that Fish and Wildlife.
Right.
We had multiple meetings but I think we got it right.
So what would
It's
this, what
working.
entities are gonna be entailed in this to get it done?
The DEC and, you know,
Definitely.
Well, we'll grant you our
Department of
permission.
State and the Army Corps.
Right, and we'll give you our permission, and we'll give
Yeah.
you a letter of support, and we'll get something going as quick as we can, and then,
Yep,
All right, thank you, Scott.
definitely in
you're
favor.
good to go,
Thank you.
right?
All right.
All right, that was easy, right, Joseph?
It was.
Well, it makes perfect common sense. I mean, hopefully the rest of your
I was
endeavor
like
on
getting my
this is
drone
as
back.
easy.
Yeah, oh, no.
Yeah, it's on Taylor Creek somewhere.
What?
The drone
got
crashed.
away.
Oh, is that right?
They don't float?
It's all right, we'll get it back.
They don't bounce either, huh?
All right,
Thank
thank you,
guys.
guys.
Thank you.
Sorry about before the security guard let me in.
No worries, all right.
Told me I had to go to Hampton Bays. I said, what?
Cornell seating proposal, 2021 to 2024.
Yes. We had asked Cornell to furnish us with an updated seating proposal for this year. What's up there? Some discussion back and forth from the board, and then we decided to change it around and do some, a little bit different to initiate macroculture and get some less substituted for the oysters that we had historically gotten, and then to adjust some of the prices. This is the latest quote that they have come up with, so I don't know if anybody's had a chance to look at it before now, but I think it's a better quote, and I think we could work with it. So
Yeah, it's like 15 million less, right?
it's 15, it's considerable less, and it's
That's-
also
That's good, because there's another
encourages the
19 grand going
macroculture.
someplace else.
Yeah.
Why do we even need art?
Well, I mean, we're trying to do some things with oysters, and we're trying to be innovative in Quonic, so I thought maybe we should put the money in an area that has been, had poor water quality, but over time is starting to get better, so put some,
Give it a little kickstart.
well,
Yeah.
I think it's we look what we did in Western Shinnecock and how successful that was, so this is the proposal, so,
Plus we got like another 19,000 perhaps we're talking about.
yes.
Putting towards
Yeah, they're
shellfish
trying to
related.
balance it all out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly, so
Let's
it's
just balance the budget for this, that's what we've been talking about since day
Correct.
one, right?
Well,
correct,
yeah.
that you get a lot more bang for your buck that
Yep.
way, and I think you're
Yeah.
gonna have a better result, so I think
I'm
it's
fine. I
good.
think
Yeah, it's a
that's
good,
great.
I think
All right.
whatever
So-
resolutions we need to
So
craft.
we'll
Yeah.
craft a resolution and have the president sign it, and then we can get the paperwork over to
Everybody,
the
everybody happy with that?
Cornell.
Thank
Joe?
All right, thank
Happy
you.
with that, Joe?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Now we're going to move off to public hearings, and we do have public hearings. So the first one that we have, notice of public hearing on amendment of rules and regulations for the management products of the town waters, considering amending the management products, Town of Southampton, Article 18, ocean beach events and permits. I'd like to open the public hearing.
I'll second it.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
All right.
All right.
Okay, public hearing is open. And we have special counsel Joseph Lombardo here.
Good afternoon. This change to the Blue Book was done with the leadership of trustee Parsons, Lisa from our office, Jessica, and myself, along with James Durier, the environmental analyst. We were looking at the situation that currently exists with the beach event permits. The thrust of our efforts are basically trying to balance the needs of the public with the needs of endangered species. We administer the Endangered Species Program on behalf of the town, and we do so with a philosophy of maximizing public access whenever possible. The last resort is to close an area. If we can avoid it, we do what we can to avoid it. And part of the problem that we've had over the course of the years, as we've discovered, is that beach events have gotten to be more voluminous and more complex in their existence. Whereas it's easy to think, well, it's just some people throwing a blanket down on the beach. But some of these parties have kitchens, some of these have lounge areas, they have dance floors, they have entertainment, and this is all enabled by truck traffic on the beaches. The problem with truck traffic is that the tire ruts are attractive to the endangered species for nesting nesting areas. So what we tried to do was weigh maximum allowability of use of the beach, but at the same time, do so in such a way that's responsible for protecting the endangered species. Because, again, all you need is one nest and you have an area closed. And that really involves a lot of geography that prohibits public access. So we moved away from a numerical threshold, which triggered the need for a permit from the trustees, to what are the environmental impacts of the activity that's proposed. So this amendment of the Blue Book will replace the entire chapter on beach events. And what it will focus on is, as opposed to 40 or 49 or 50 people triggering the need for the permit, it will be, what are you going to do at that event? If you're going to put up a couple of chairs and have a wedding or a memorial service, again, low impact, no trucks, no sound systems, no caterers. Simple, simple, simple to get the permit. If you're going to be elaborate, then we want to know what's going on. We want to know how many trucks are going to be coming on. We want to know how many people are going to be fed. We need to be able to plan for this. We will have monitors if the location is such where we do need a plover monitor. We want to be aware to set up protective areas so that the endangered species will be unavoidably harmed at that point. That is the purpose of these amendments that we've put. We received some comments from Parks and Recreation. We got them on Friday. Take a look at them. But I would advise the board to keep in mind that, again, one person can ruin it for everybody. One person with a truck where it shouldn't be can ruin it. And that is the focus, to keep the public access as much as possible for everybody. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. And I would also recommend perhaps that you may want to keep this open for public comment for 2 weeks, written public comment, so that we can take a look at it.
That's important, Joseph, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody from the public that would like to speak on this issue at this point in time? Actually, we should probably bring this over to, why don't you bring that over to?
Yeah. I'll get it.
For him to sign in. Sign-in sheet.
Hi, everyone. My name is Phil. I live in Watermill. There's a lot to this, and I hope I can remember most of it. The events, I've been doing events for East End Clam Bakes. I own East End Clam Bakes for over 40 years, and I've done, I couldn't even tell you, over 1,000 events probably down at the beach. The thing that's happened that I've seen down there, first of all, we don't get involved in like string lights, the wicker furniture, I strictly, pretty much because of the workload and the involvement in a lot of these things, pretty much just set up chairs, tables, obviously a cooking area, bonfire, which the town Parks and Rec allows, in a container. But what's happened in the last few years is they've gotten more and more insane down there. I saw one last year that, they had the wicker furniture, they had this, they had that. And I agree with this man, there's a lot of equipment has to be brought on the beach. a lot of times, I'm gonna probably jump back and forth, but a lot of times, the vehicles that go on the beach are not even permitted. They don't have a sticker. But if I or somebody else calls code enforcement, nobody seems to come down. Now, that whole, in my world, if somebody calls up and they want to do a party, that's fine, and we can set up, seating for them. Once in a while, they do some cushions, but not too often. It's mostly chairs, tables. They have a buffet. They have a work table for, serving food and so forth. And it doesn't go to that extent with the string lights and the illumination like he's talking about. I mean, the whole thing about doing this as long as I've done it is I want to keep a low profile down there. The local people do not like things that look like a circus down there. They don't like it. I've gotten calls, I've talked to people about it, and I like just making it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Tiki torches, the bonfire's okay, away from any endangered species or whatever. The main issue is going to be who are you going to call if there's an issue. If there's an issue of a violation or an issue of a truck. I got a picture from a photographer this morning who said I happened to bump into him last night, and he had a picture of Flying Point and Jeanette down at Parks and Rec. I talked to her this morning. She was well aware of it. The party did not have a permit, and they left garbage all over the beach. The fire was still smoldering. Logs, cans, bottles, refuse. They owned a house down there and had the party on the beach. I don't know where the house was. And the police didn't write them a summons, but they should have. They should have. There should be somewhere in there if you violate and don't. There's a whole strict bunch of rules that Parks and Rec wants us to do. We don't leave the garbage down there. We get rid of the fire. We take everything. I've picked up garbage before, and my staff, before we set up a party, because it's messy. And when we leave, we walk around. It's dark with lanterns, and we look around the whole area, and we clean everything up. And the other issue is, I know I'm going long here, but the other issue is, and I've talked to Parks and Rec about it, because I went to set up a party at Sag Main last year, and there was a van there unloading wicker furniture. It was 5:15, 5:30. I had to let air down on the truck so I could drive on the beach. I walk over the dunes to see where I was going to set up, and they've got it looked like a little Morocco over there, or a little whatever, and all this stuff that was set up, and that can't happen until after 6, according to the rules and regulations. And so that has to be enforced. And my suggestion would be some sort of a decent fine or penalty for that kind of thing to keep people from just doing it. Because you know what? I just got an email the other day. It's a silly looking setup for this party, and I'm probably not going to do it, but they'll get somebody to do it. With rugs on the sand and this and that. Come on. It's the whole beauty of the place, the beach, the ocean, is the whole vision of the blue water and the sand and the dune grass. I've been all over the world. They got some of the most beautiful beaches around. But there's a lot to this thing, and enforcement is going to always be some sort of an issue. And, right now you have in place, and it's probably a question, but you have a permit that's needed for 50 or more people. Can I ask a question right now or not?
Not really, but.
You can ask it, but we're probably not going to give you an answer.
You're probably not going to give it. No, I was just wondering if this is going to be like a permit for all these town beaches for 5 people or 50 people or more.
One person would trigger it,
Will trigger a permit. So here's another whole rat's nest that's gonna involve. If I have a permit for Flying Point like I did last year, and there's 8 different, or 7 different bonfires, which there were, and there were anywhere from 10 to 20 people at each one, and I recognized some of the people, local people, going down, they didn't have a permit, who's gonna be the guy that goes down and say, where's your permit? And what are they gonna do when there isn't a permit? Do they have to leave? It's gonna be, there's a lot to this, there's a lot.
Well, that's why we are holding a public hearing, Phil, and that's why we appreciate your commentary. It's not really designed for like a back and forth.
I know,
It's-
I know, I
It's
know.
for you to give us like what we as a board need to be thinking about as we move through this process so that the end result is what we're trying to achieve. So your commentary is helpful. Like I said, you've gone long, but I've let you go long because I think that you
I know I
have
did.
a lot of experience in this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important for the board to hear from somebody that's been for 40 years, you know, kind of entrenched with this. So that's why.
You know, my mother's side of the family's been here since the
Right.
1600s.
So right now, I think the
Right.
best thing the board could do right now,
Yeah.
at this moment in time, is listen to what you have to say.
I understand, no problem. Thank you.
Are you finished?
I could go on, but I'm not.
I mean, are you finished with your key points? Because I'm interested to hear your key points, Phil.
Well-
I'm not trying to make you stay there and longer, but I just
It's
want
not
to make
good
sure.
feedback so we can discuss as a
Right,
board and
just
come- yeah.
your key points.
I touched on quite a few different things. The other thing is, let's say somebody, like I've got a few on the books already. So let's say somebody has an event booked at, I'm using Flying Point again, but it could be SAG, Maine, or whatever. And they've booked this party, gotten their Parks and Rec permit, and then you pass something at the middle or end of June that you have to have this other permit for 20 people, let's say, or 30 people. Now, are they gonna be like grandfathered in because they already were booked, or that's gonna be another issue? Jeanette and I have talked about that. But the main problem is enforcement, penalties. If you've got people from up, I can recognize them, they're not from around here. They set up all this wicker furniture and this hoo-ha down there that doesn't belong down there, making it something that these people want, and they're not really abiding by any of the regulations or rules. Whether it's somebody at the beach needs to call code enforcement at 5 o'clock, they usually leave though, that's a problem, you know, if you're lifeguards and things like that. But I've seen, because I get blamed for some of this stuff too. I get a phone call, you left garbage all over the beach at Old Town Beach last night. And I go, hold on a second, I said, we never did an event at Old Town Beach. Or we never did a beach party at Sag Main last year, you know, at this date. So I said, you have to find out who was there. But,
And just to be clear, like Marine Patrol enforces our jurisdiction as trustees.
mhm.
You know, like that is an entity to call.
That's
I've
the
called
police
them.
department.
Yeah. Marine Patrol represents the trustees for access and egress over the beaches. So
At night, there's gonna be somebody that'll pick up a phone.
they're usually chasing
They're
crap.
dispatched through the police department, dispatched through the police department, so you should
Yeah.
always dial up the police department, and they will dispatch them, and that way there's a record and everything's, that's really the first thing you should do.
Okay.
I know Special Counsel Lombardo got something to say, thank you, Phil.
Thank you.
And to complete the thought, you call the police, you call the Bay Constables and Marine Patrol, they're enforcing the town code, so.
Okay. All right, is there anybody else from the public that would like to speak? Anybody on Zoom that would like to speak? Any hands up? We have a hand? Okay, great.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you, Mark I think the first thing that I'd like to say is, we already get permits to do these parties from the town. What you're talking about is adding your level to it, and I have absolutely no problem with that. We do it in the town of East Hampton for every single event, no matter how many people. My concern with the trustees in Southampton is simply the timing. You have a requirement for 30 days in advance, and quite often we don't have 30 days before people want to have a party. And there are provisions both with Parks and Rec, Town of East Hampton, Village of East Hampton, Village of Southampton, where we can get rushed permit fees. The other thing is just the amount of money that you charge on top of the town of Southampton would make it very expensive. I think, I totally support every purpose that you have. I agree with Phil in that there are a lot of bad actors out there. In terms of wicker furniture and illumination, I do that. But the other thing that I would like to point out is, especially in the town of Southampton, these aren't people that are on from around here. In order to get a permit from Parks and Rec in the town of Southampton, you have to be a homeowner in the town of Southampton. So these are your constituents who are in fact doing these parties. I think reasonable limitations on things, and certainly protecting the piping clovers, is important. And, I can only speak for my company, as we've been doing it, probably not as long as Phil, but, 25, 30 years. And, I am a fanatic for following the rules. I just am. There was an incident last year where a different catering company blocked access at Peters Pond and wouldn't let anybody drive from Town Line or from Sag Main for me to get to somebody's private property. They built, and they showed me a parking pass sticker. So, yeah, enforcement's an issue. And clearly, if we break the rules, we should in fact be fined. I feel comfortable saying that because I just simply don't break the rules. You want a permit from me, happy to do it. Please don't make me do it 30 days in advance. I just got a call right before this meeting for a party on June 1st. That's just the way this business works.
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you for the comments.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, and also coincidentally, I'm on the board of directors at Southport Sea Farmers. I don't know what you're doing with Cornell, but we're building reefs in East Hampton with high school students for oyster protection. We just put a couple in Aquaponic Harbor, and I got Barley done. Get in touch with you if you're interested in learning about what we do in addition to Cornell.
Thank you.
You've heard of us.
Yep.
Appreciate that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Is there anybody else on Zoom with a hand up that needs to be part of our public hearing today?
That's all I'm doing.
Okay, is there anybody else here in the beautiful town hall that wants to address the Board of Trustees on this particular public hearing today? And then nobody wants to speak, therefore I think we will, I don't know if we should close this and leave it open for public comment period?
Yes.
2 weeks?
I'll second that.
To our next
Okay,
meeting?
so I would say let's close this public hearing and we will leave it open
14-day written comment period.
14-day written comment period, sounds good.
for a 14-day written comment period. Is that the second from,
Second.
seconded by trustee McLaughlin? All in favor?
All right,
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
all right, thank you.
All right, now let's go to good old-fashioned public portion. Anybody else want to speak here under public portion? All right, so anybody got their hand up for public portion on the Zoom?
Nobody will do.
All right, so motion to close public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public portion is over. Let's go to the application for permits. I have, I would say Board of Trustees hereby waives a public hearing on the following applications because it's been determined that the following projects do not raise a significant degree of public interest or public input is not needed to aid in the decision-making process. Trustee Resolution 2024-139, application to James Price, 2080 East Rampasture Road, Hampton Bays, tax map 900-345-03-12.001. Recommend its approval.
Second on that one.
Seconded by trustee Warner. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Trustee Resolution 2024-140, application for 95 Inlet Road West, LLC, 95 Inlet Road, West Shinnecock Hills, Suffolk County, tax map 900-176-1-1, body of water, Cold Springs Inlet. We went over this at work session, and it's all compliant, so I recommend its approval. Need a second?
Second. Seconded, trustee Parsons, all in favor?
All right.
All right, hurry up. Trustee Resolution 2024-141, application for James Goff, 9 Shawnee Street, Hampton Bays, Suffolk County, tax map 900-230-3-17, body of water, Shinnecock Bay. Again, we went over this at work session. I believe everything is compliant, so I need a second on this.
Second.
Second, trustee McLaughlin, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this trustee resolution 2024-142. This is a modification of Richard Jacinko II at 180 Point Mecox Lane, Bridgehampton, New York, number 900-134-1-56.1, and this body of water is in Swan Creek, and this was just the railing change. Do I have a second on this one?
Second on it.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
This is trustee resolution 2024-143. This is a renewal application first of Rama McHugh and 59 Cliff Drive, Noyak, New York, 900-9-1-15, body of water, Sag Harbor Cove. Would I have a second on this?
Second.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2024-144, application of three-way Taplet Road, but in North Sea, tax number 959-1-20, Bodywood, Davis Creek. Can I have a second?
Second.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye. Okay, I've got trustee resolution 2024-145, application of Andrew Perel at 19 Seatuck Lane in Remsenburg, New York, on Doug Canal. Can I get a second on this one?
Second.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
And I've got trustee resolution 2024-146, application Helic W. Culver of 6 Beaver Dam Road in West Hampton on the Beaver Dam Creek. Everything looks pretty good. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. That's trustee resolution 2024-147. We're going to set a notice of public hearing on amending the rules and regulations for management and products of the town waters. The Blue Book considering amending the management and products of the waters of the town of Southampton. Article 7, dredging, docks, bulkheads, and channels. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Freeholders and Commonalty of the town of Southampton directs that a public hearing shall be held on Monday, June 3rd, 2024, at 1 o'clock in the meeting room of town here at Town Hall, 116 Hampton Road, to hear any and all persons either for or against proposed amendments to our Blue Book.
Second.
Seconded, trustee McLaughlin, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Trustee Resolution 2024-148. Waterfowl hunting location permits issued, notices of violations for the 2023-24, whereas the Board of Trustees finds that the subject project is type 2 action pursuant to 6 NYCR Part 617. No further environmental action review is required under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Whereas the following waterfowl hunting location permits were approved for the 23-24 season, and the permit holder subsequently received various notices of violation pursuant to Article 5, Section 38, Southampton Town Bay Constables. There was Russell Scaris, permit 19, Joe Marcucci, 107, Frank Dosh, permits 245 and 90, Dan Azzato, permit number 86, and William Muller, permit number 280. Resolved that upon a showing of good cause from each of the above permittees, the Board of Trustees have decided not to revoke the waterfowl hunting location permits listed above and to allow the permit holders to renew the 2024-25 hunting season. No similar relief will be granted to these permit holders in the future unless agreed upon by a majority plus one of the Board of Trustees.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Warner.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Trustee Resolution 2024-149, authorize the president to sign a letter to the Village of Southampton for the Plover Program.
Second.
Seconded, trustee McLaughlin, all in favor?
Trustee Resolution 2024-150, warrant number 8 of 2024. It reads as 84 lumber, $452.60. Call ahead, $50. Inner Science, $1,359.85. And Joseph R. Lombardo, $3,350. Riverhead Building Supply, $80.98. And WB Mason for $240.70 for a total of $5,534.18. I recommend its approval. I need a second.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Parsons, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that concludes our scheduled agenda for today. I know we've had a lot of discussions today. Is there anything more that needs to get on the record before we adjourn this meeting and move on with our days?
Do we have another exec, or is that it?
We covered everything on exec agenda.
One quick one on exec with this. We never covered this.
The steel permits.
I thought we did.
Didn't we talk about it, the years past?
I thought we did cover the stale permits. We did cover the stale permits.
You have the resolution for the public hearing. Here.
Exactly, we did that.
Yeah.
We did that. All right, is there anything further for this general session? I will entertain somebody making a motion.
I believe North Sea Harbor, the dredging is complete over there.
It is, yeah.
So the mariners have a safe egress and pass in and out of North Sea Harbor. The water quality should be good in there for the oysters growing and all the shellfish. So it was a win-win situation. So
Thank you to the
It's all
County
good.
of Suffolk for working
Yeah.
with us on that.
and James and our whole program for the birds and everything.
Monitoring birds.
Yes.
Very important.
And,
Can't get dredging projects done without monitoring birds.
And they're also looking at the LY culvert. It goes under North Sea Road. There's some discussion when that road is repaved and redone. They want to there's a study done by the county to see what the frequency of that LY.
The run is there?
Yeah,
That'd be good.
So once the data comes in, I will talk to Legislator Welker, and hopefully we'll get that data to the board. And
Yeah, it should be fascinating how many
Yep.
fish come and go out of there.
That's good.
Yep.
Is there anything else that needs to get on a general session here today before we adjourn? Okay, how about a motion?
Motion for me?
Somebody?
Motion to
Motion to
adjourn?
adjourn, yeah, I'll go for it.
All right, second?
second.
Second.
Aye.
Trustee McLaughlin, all in favor? Aye. Have a great afternoon, everybody. All right, we got a lot.